From WNIJ Studios on the campus of Northern Illinois University, this is Sessions from Studio A. Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings bring an extra hour of blues to the WNIJ airwaves this week. Holland grew up on Chicago's South Side and grew interested in the blues at a young age. He'll tell us about how his guitar teacher was a little shocked that he wanted to play the blues when all of the other students wanted to learn hard rock at the time. And he'll also tell us about playing with blues legends like James Cotton, Eddie Clearwater, and Muddy Waters guitarist John Primer. Stay tuned for that interview and Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings performing live. It's this hour on Sessions from Studio A.
Do to you.
Welcome to Sessions from Studio A, where we feature local and touring artists and bring their live performances in Studio A to you wherever you're listening in from. This week, it's Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings joining us. And let's get right into the music. This first one is titled Worry and Wonder. It's Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings on Sessions from Studio A.
It's blues time, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sessions from Studio A on WNIJ. Here in beautiful DeKalb, Illinois, we're Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings. And away we go.
This is Sessions from Studio A. You just heard Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings playing live in the studio. I'm here now with Tom Holland. Thanks so much for coming out to DeKalb today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much.
It was a great set. I want to ask about, I heard you just recently got back from Argentina.
I was in Argentina for 3 weeks.
And it was a tour?
Touring,
Tell
yes.
us what that was like out in Argentina. Welcome back, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. You know, it was a lot of steak.
Oh, yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing. I prefer steak, so I was a very happy man. And then on top of that, I was there for, I think, 20 days and 10 shows. And 7 of the 10 shows were sold out completely, and the other 3 were very close. But I was very impressed with the reception I had over there, figuring that, you know, I'm a legend in my own mind, a lot of people would say. But in South America they love me. So I'm very happy about that. There's a lot of blues fans in all over the world, really. But Japanese blues fans and South American blues fans, to me, have been the most fervent and excitable. You know, it makes my heart feel good when I can go into a place that I've never played before and have it be a room full of people that are all there to see the blues. They were there for the music, and that's very hopeful.
I love that. Yeah. So you grew up in south side of Chicago, is that correct?
I did, out in Beverly Morgan Park area.
Do you remember the first time you ever heard the blues?
You know, my dad had a very, very large and eclectic record collection. He liked blues and jazz and soul music the most. So it's like I heard, you know, he always listened to jazz, but it was more what got to me was the R&B and the blues and the soul stuff. You know, the jazz was there. But, you know, when I saw Eddie Van Halen on MTV when I was, you know, 10, 11 years old maybe. And I was like, that's what I want to do. And then I got a guitar and realized my fingers were never going to move that fast. And when I started taking lessons, you know, I took lessons for a little while. And the guitar teacher I had asked me what I wanted to learn, how to play, and I was like, I want to play blues. And he just kind of looked at me funny. He was like, really? You don't want to learn, you know, hard rock or anything? I said, no, I want to learn about the blues. And he was a big blues fan, and most of the kids in the neighborhood that he was teaching guitar to they all wanted to play rock. They all wanted to be Joe Perry or Eddie Van Halen or Joe Satriani.
Yeah.
You know, and here I come wanting to be, you know, Robert Jr. Lockwood.
Wow. Yeah, you were probably a breath of fresh air for the teacher, it sounds like. Do you remember his name?
Chuck Murphy. We actually are still, I still talk to him every now and again.
Oh, very cool.
So we've stayed in contact over the years.
And I know you also had somebody who took you under his wing and taught you in your early days too. Muddy Waters guitarist John Primer. Tell us about that. That's amazing.
You know, I used to go down to the Checkerboard Lounge, which is no longer there. It was 43rd, just east of King Drive, 423 East 43rd. And I used to go down and see John play on Sundays and Mondays. And I'd sit in the back, and I wouldn't really, you know, I wouldn't say anything. I was just there to soak it up, you know. And after a couple months, I finally got the courage to just go say, hey, you know, I really like what you do. I like blues, and I play a little guitar. And, you know, and then he was, well, next time you come down, bring a guitar. We'll get you up there.
Oh, wow.
So the next, then I started coming back, and I'd have a guitar with me, And it'd be, another couple months before he would remember, hey, you said, I told you could get up and sit in. And so after about, another 2 months or 2 or 3 months of, sitting in the back, just absorbing it all, I was like, hey, you think maybe I could sit in? And he waited till the last song, of the night.
Pressure's on now.
And, it was the band and the bartender. That was
okay.
it. So there was,
off.
The pressure was off. And, whatever, I don't remember what we played, any of that. But, I kept coming back, and he saw something in me. And after another couple months of him letting me sit in, then he needed a guitar player for a gig. I'm 18, 19 years old, and so, I don't know any better. And I remember the gig. It was Founders Hill out in Downers Grove, and that place is also long since folded or changed hands. But we met down at the Checkerboard, and this was the late 90s. So, cell phones were still another 10 years off. GPS was still another 5 years off. And we ended up getting lost on the way to the first gig.
Oh, no.
We basically roll up to the first gig, pile out of the van, throw our stuff up on stage, start half hour late, and, play the gig. It was, I was more scared just being up on stage because, he was like, oh, do you sing? I said, not really. He goes, oh, you'll learn how.
Oh, man.
And so, I never sang at all. And then I went from never singing at all and, barely being able to fumble my way through a whole set to having to learn at least 3 songs per set because I didn't want to keep playing the same songs over and over again. And, I slowly built up a catalog of songs that I could sing. And, it was all downhill from there.
Wow. So your first time singing was pretty much because you were thrust right
Yeah,
into that.
it was frying pan into the fire.
Leave behind. Call your friends, call them all today. Gonna have fun and dance your way. Shovel King Boogie, right here in your town.
Shuffle King Boogie by Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings. That was recorded live right here in WNIJ's Studio A. Find more from Tom Holland on his website, tomhollandshufflekings.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more music and more from my conversation with Tom Holland on Sessions from Studio A. Welcome back to Sessions from Studio A and our hour of blues with Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings. This next one is off of their 2013 record, No Fluff, Just the Stuff, and it's titled Waitin' on the Other Shoe to Drop. It's Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings, recorded live in WNIJ's Studio A. Tell us when the Shuffle Kings started. When did you start this specific project here?
Maybe 99, 2000, around there somewhere. I was playing with Eddie Clearwater, and Eddie had his own. Eddie opened up a blues club, and by that time I had been opening all the shows for Eddie. I'd do 2 or 3 songs, warm up the crowd, and then Eddie would come out, and so it's like I had a nice little. I had a bunch of songs that I would do, and when he had this jam night, he was like, "Listen, when we're not on the road, you run the jam." So I had always had, a couple of guys, couple bass players, couple drummers that, I would never, I hadn't done any like real gigs, maybe 1 or 2. So I didn't really have a band, but it was like with a jam night, I was like, okay, well, we're going to start this band. And it pretty much started because I needed a band for the jam night.
And introduce us to the rest of the trio, the Shuffle Kings, with you today.
Well, today I have Chris Alexander on drums, and his dad was a blues artist back in probably the 50s and 60s up until I want to say maybe 2010.
Oh wow!
Around that, his dad was Danson Perkins, who was a bass player, played a lot on Maxwell Street. So he's got a bit of a family pedigree, a blues pedigree to him, and he's been playing on and off with me for probably maybe 6-7 years. And on bass we got Mike Scharf, who's been my bass player for 11 or 12 years.
On the other shoe to drop.
I gotta ask you, you played with people like James Cotton and John Primer, Eddie Clearwater, like you mentioned.
Yep.
What's it like playing with these people who you maybe grew up listening to even, or looked up to and were inspired by them? What's that like?
I grew up listening to, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Jimmy Reed, Eddie Taylor, all those guys. And, a lot of people always ask me, well, what's it like playing with all these legends of the blues? And it's like, well, I can't look at it like I'm playing with a legend of the blues.
Right.
If I thought I wouldn't be able to get up on stage, I'd be too scared out of my wits.
You got to kind of humanize them a little bit there.
Yeah. And, and it was a thing of, I grew up listening to Cotton, and Primer was, one of the first guys that I really dug in and learned everything I could about. I went out and found all of his records, listened to all of that stuff, and, so it was funny, like with Cotton, I had actually met Cotton a couple years before I started playing with him. Just a weird, just a weird happenstance where I was hanging out at, I think it was the Kingston Mines on like a Sunday night. I'm singing a song and, sitting in playing, and I turn around and there's James Cotton.
Oh, wow.
It's like, it's like 1:30 in the morning. Kingston Mines is open till 4, so, it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm sitting in, and I turned to my right, and there's James Cotton. And it's just like, oh, okay, that's James Cotton. Well, we're gonna finish this song, and we played 2 songs before I could turn around and say, how about it for James Cotton? He was already off the stage and back out the door.
Wow.
And it was one of those where I was like, well, what just happened
was
here?
that a ghost? Or was that
And then he came back in and, came with, hey, you sound pretty good, kid. Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, you sound like you've been learning. So thank you. And then he was gone. Wow. And then I didn't see him for, probably another 2-3 years. And then when I got hired, I was on vacation with my wife in Times Square visiting her best friend. And it was Halloween. We're in Times Square, and I get a phone call on my cell phone, and it was one of those, miniature brick phones, This is James Cotton Management. we got your number. We need a guitar player to go on a tour of the West Coast.
Wow.
Are you interested? Sure, I'm interested. Yes, let's do it. When are we leaving? November 2nd. So
This is Halloween.
And this is Halloween. So we flew back from New York in the morning of the 2nd.
Oh, man.
So we fly home, get back to the house, 1 or 2 loads of laundry, pack my suitcase, and by midnight I'm in a 15-passenger van driving from Chicago to Oakland, California.
Wow. Holy cow.
And that was the longest fill-in gig I ever had in my life.
Yeah, a 12-year film.
Yeah.
Wow.
Temptation's always out there, every night and every day. Round every corner, every time a different name. All things change, darling. Oh, they stay the same. They come to you in a bottle, come to you in a miniskirt. Any way you slice it, either way it's gonna hurt. Old things change, darling. All things stay the same. But you gotta learn a lesson. One thing you can't escape. Take it from me, buddy. Don't make that same mistake. All things change, darling. All they stay the same. All they change, darling. All they stay the same.
That was More Things Change by Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings. That's another one from his record No Fluff, Just the Stuff, which you can find out on all the streaming services. And you can check out more from him over on TomHollandShuffleKings.com. Stay tuned, there's still more music to come here on Sessions from Studio A. Welcome back to Sessions from Studio A. We've been hearing Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings, recorded live in WNIJ's Studio A, and talking with Tom Holland about his background and about playing with legends like John Primer and James Cotton. And let's get back into the studio for another one of their live performances. This next one is Easiest Thing I'll Ever Do, recorded live. It's Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings on Sessions from Studio A.
Well, I've got an angel, and I don't know why. Came down to help me in the nick of time. Didn't know where I was going, didn't know where I'd been. All I know, she showed me how to live again. Now what she's doing with a fool like me, I just can't figure out. I just can't see that I've got an angel that loves me so. How much I love her, she will never know. So I wanna thank you, baby, for the love you've given me. That's why, baby, I need you here with me.
What are some upcoming plans for you and the band for the end of summer and as we get into early fall here? What's next for you guys?
Well, you know, on my downtime this summer, I've been piecing together stuff for a new record. So
Oh yeah, that's
probably
exciting.
November,
There we go.
December, go in the studio, knock it out, and go into 2024 guns blazing.
Yeah, okay. We're looking at a new Tom Holland record
Yep,
next year,
yep.
possibly.
And in October, I play the King Biscuit Blues Festival every year in Helena, Arkansas. Now that's not with the Shuffle Kings. That's this year. It'll be Kenny Smith on the Saturday, and Bob Margolin and Bob Stroger, and then on the and Omar Coleman. And then on the Friday, I'll be playing with Omar at the festival as well. And then that Sunday, I'll be doing the Pinetop Perkins Homecoming in Clarksdale, Mississippi. And then end of November, beginning of December, I'll be going to Florida and I think Alabama and Mississippi with Mark Hummel doing James Cotton tribute shows.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Nice. And where can people find more from you, keep up with news and tour dates, all that stuff?
Easiest way is TomHollandShuffleKings.com.
There we go.
Yeah.
Tom Holland, thank you so much for coming out
Thank
to
you,
DeKalb
thank
and
you.
playing with us today. Great
Always.
set.
I hope to be back soon.
Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings performing No Fluff, Just the Stuff off of their record with the same name. That was recorded live in WNIJ's Studio A and will close out our show for this week. A big thanks to Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings for joining us and to you for listening in. You can check out more from them on TomHollandShuffleKings.com. He's also streaming on Spotify with that record, No Fluff, Just the Stuff. And he's on social media, Facebook at Tom Holland and the Shuffle Kings, and Instagram at The Shuffle King. Check out behind-the-scenes video from this performance over on WNIJ.org, and find this episode in its entirety. Sessions from Studio A is produced at WNIJ Studios by yours truly and Mike Lundgren. I'm Spencer Tritt. Thanks so much for joining me this week, and I'll see you next time on another edition of Sessions from Studio A.
Easy